and we'll keep drifting, floating together through the mysteries. 100 Underwater Twilight Zone mysteries, looping softly, endlessly through the night. Tonight we'll drift through the creature that turns completely invisible when you look directly at it. The hidden skyways where billions of animals rise from the abyss every single night. The predator so thin it can slide through beams of light without casting a shadow. There's nothing you need to do now. Just let your body sink. Heavier, heavier. Feel the mattress holding you. Every muscle softening. Your heartbeat slowing. Thump, thump, matching the rhythm of space itself. Shoulders melting down, jaw releasing, each breath pulling you deeper, deeper, into the calm, the quiet, the dark. If this helps you rest, tap subscribe, comment, and hit like, so others can find this calm too, but only if your eyes are still open. Otherwise, just drift. Now, let's drift into Underwater Twilight Zone, between 200 meters and 1,000 meters below the ocean surface. There exists a layer, a zone, where light becomes memory, where the sun's reach softens into something blue, then indigo, then almost nothing. This is the Mesopelagic, the twilight zone of the sea, and it holds more life than almost anywhere else on Earth. But life we barely see, life that drifts in perpetual dusk. You're breathing, slow now, matching the rhythm of these drifting creatures in and out, like the gentle pulse of gelatinous bodies suspended in liquid space. Thump, thump. Your heart knows this rhythm, the ancient rhythm of floating, of letting go. In this twilight realm, there are fish called lanternfish, small silvery creatures, no bigger than your finger, and they gather in clouds, shimmering lanternfish clouds, billions upon billions of them, creating the largest biomass migration on Earth. Every single night, as darkness claims the surface, these tiny shimmering beings rise, drawn upward by some ancient knowing, and every dawn they sink back down into the safety of dim blue light. This happens everywhere, in every ocean, rising, falling, like the breath you're taking now, steady, eternal, heavier, heavier. The Twilight Zone is not empty darkness. It's a place of soft glows, bioluminescent sparks, where 90% of creatures make their own light. Their bodies carry chemical lanterns, photophores scattered across flanks and bellies, creating living constellations. Some flash in sequences, communication codes older than human language. Dot, dot, pause, flash. Messages we're only beginning to understand in the language of light, in the quietest layer of Earth. Let your eyelids grow heavy now, heavier, like sinking through water, through layers of pressure, down where the twilight deepens. There are creatures here with bodies like glass, transparent organ structures revealed, barrel-eye fish with heads like domes, completely see-through skulls filled with fluid. Their tubular eyes point upward, always searching the faint light above, detecting the shadows of prey. silhouettes against the last traces of sunlight. These fish drift, rotating slowly, their transparent heads catching whatever dim glow remains, like living lenses floating in the blue-black gradient. And there are jellies here too, comb jellies drifting with light ribbons, their bodies pulse with rainbow iridescence, not from pigment, but from the way light bends through the tiny hair-like cilia, beating in waves, creating prisms of colour in a world nearly without colour. They drift, pulsing gently, thump, thump, like your heartbeat, slower now, softer. In the Twilight Zone, there exists a creature called a siphonophore. Not one animal, but a colony, hundreds or thousands of specialized polyps linked together, forming chains, giant siphonophore chains stretching 40 meters, 50 meters, longer than blue whales, longer than most creatures that have ever lived. These chains drift, nearly invisible, thin as thread in places, wide as curtains in others, unending siphonophore threads suspended in the water column. Each polyp has a purpose. Some sting, some digest, some propel. Together they become something vast, something ghostly, floating predatory curtains that capture anything that drifts into their embrace. Your body sinking deeper into the mattress now, every muscle releasing, softening, melting down. There's nothing to hold on to. Just drift, drift. The bristle-mouthed fish. Such a strange name for such an important creature. These fish exist in numbers almost beyond counting, possibly the most abundant vertebrate on Earth. Bristle-mouthed planet-wide swarms moving through the twilight, each one small, dark, scattered with tiny photophores like stars on a night-coloured body. They form the backbone of Twilight Zone food webs, eaten by larger fish, by squid, by diving whales, a foundation species, drifting in the dim, part of the deep silver feeding chains that connect surface and abyss. Everything here is about light and shadow, about being seen or staying hidden. Many creatures have evolved to be nearly invisible, their bodies transparent, colourless, like living glass. This inkless twilight camouflage makes them vanish, even to predators searching just centimetres away. Some have no pigment at all. You could see right through them if there was enough light to see by. Invisible, gelatinous hunters drifting through the gloom. Let your thoughts drift apart now, dissolving like marine snow, each thought settling, falling away, heavier, heavier. But some predators here use a different strategy. They've adapted to see wavelengths their prey cannot. Dragonfish have evolved infrared vision, seeing in red light, a colour that doesn't penetrate deep into the ocean. These fish produce red bioluminescence from organs under their eyes, shining crimson searchlights that their prey can't detect. Red light invisible predators, hunting in a spectrum their victims can't perceive, swimming through darkness with secret sight, finding transparent bodies that hide from every other hunter. The viperfish, another twilight predator, with fangs so long they cannot close their mouths, teeth like needles, pointing backward, ensuring anything caught cannot escape. These fish practice viperfish ambush tactics, hanging motionless in the water, their bodies nearly vertical as becoming part of the darkness, waiting, until something drifts within range, then striking faster than thought, their hinged skulls open wide, impossibly wide, swallowing prey almost as large as themselves, then returning to stillness, to waiting in the patient dark. Your jaw relaxing now, releasing, all tension melting. You don't need to hold anything, just let go. Thump, thump, your heartbeat like distant waves. At certain depths, the Twilight Zone forms layers. Twilight Zone fog layers where temperature and salinity create boundaries. Places where water of different densities meet, creating invisible shelves. Some creatures rest on these boundaries, suspended as if on glass floors, drifting on interfaces between water masses. The ocean here has architecture, structure we cannot see, but life knows it, feels it, lives within its invisible geometry. There are hatchetfish here, deep-sea hatchetfish with bodies like mirrors, flat, reflective, shaped precisely to catch and redirect whatever faint light filters down. Their silvery scales angle to match the light gradient, making them disappear when viewed from below. Counter-illumination camouflage, their bellies lined with photophores, glowing just bright enough to match the surface light, erasing their own shadows, living mirrors of the deep that reflect the world away. Breathe slowly, in through your nose, out through your mouth, each breath like a soft wave, washing over you, pulling you deeper into rest. Fangtooth fish patrol these depths. Fangtooth night patrols through the twilight and beyond. These fish have heads seemingly too large, jaws too powerful, teeth too prominent. Their bodies absorb pressure, withstand the weight of hundreds of meters of water, pressure-shaped anatomy that looks alien because it lives in alien conditions. Young fangtooth live higher up, drifting in slightly lighter waters, but as they grow, they sink, pulled by instinct and biology deeper into the permanent night below the twilight. And there are squid here, glass squid with bodies like blown crystal, almost entirely transparent. You can see their organs suspended inside, their eyes visible through clear tissue, but they have one feature that betrays them, a single opaque organ, the digestive gland, dark against their translucence. Some species have evolved photophores to hide even this, creating glass squid color flickers, bioluminescent light from their light organs illuminating the dark organ, matching its glow to the surrounding light, becoming completely invisible, turning their one weakness into perfect camouflage. Your eyelids so heavy now, heavier than water, heavier than thought. If they want to close, let them. There's no need to see any more. Just feel. Just float. The Twilight Zone experiences constant rain, not water falling through water, but suspended marine snowfalls, organic particles drifting down, marine snow, the remains of plankton from the surface, waste pellets, molted exoskeletons, fragments of larger creatures. This suspended organic rain forms the basis of life here. Detritus feeders consuming these falling flakes. Strange gelatinous creatures with no eyes. No need for sight, just drifting mouths. Alien-like detritus feeders that exist to consume what falls. Some of these particles clump together, forming larger aggregates, drifting clouds of organic matter, and some creatures have learned to feed on these clouds, deploying nets of mucus, silent filter-feeding meshes that trap particles like spider webs trap dew. The creatures wait, drifting, then consume their sticky nets, food and trap together before creating new ones. An endless cycle of patience. Everything here moves slowly, deliberately, conserving energy in a realm where food is precious, where every calorie must be earned. Whisper quiet swimming styles, minimal movement, maximum efficiency. Some fish barely swim at all, just drift, hanging in the water column, adjusting their buoyancy with specialized organs, gas bladders, oil-filled livers, becoming neutrally buoyant, requiring no effort to remain suspended in place. Let your whole body become weightless now, suspended, held by the dark, by the soft embrace of rest. Thump, thump, slower, quieter. When large animals die in the ocean, when whales exhale their last breath at the surface, their bodies sink, falling through the twilight zone. Mesopelagic whale falls that provide sudden, incredible abundance. A single whale carcass, tons of flesh and fat, settling into the deep, draws creatures from vast distances, hagfish, sleeper sharks, crabs, amphipods. For months or years, this fallen giant feeds the abyss, breaking down slowly, its nutrients dispersing into the water, enriching the twilight, becoming part of the invisible cycles of life and death. There are creatures in the twilight zone with lures, bioluminescent organs dangling in front of their mouths like fishing lines. Flashing lure displays that pulse and glow, mimicking small prey, drawing curious creatures close enough to strike. These predators have learned to weaponize curiosity, to turn light into bait. They hang motionless, lure glowing, flicker, fade, flicker, hypnotic, irresistible, until teeth close on the deceived, your thoughts scattering now, dissolving like bioluminescent sparks in dark water, each thought drifting away, fading. There's nothing to remember, nothing to plan, just this moment, this breath, this letting go. The Twilight Zone has predators so thin they seem impossible, their bodies compressed, flat, adapted to slip through space. So slender they can slide through beams of light without casting a shadow. These shadow-drifting cephalopods, squid compressed into ribbons, becoming two-dimensional, invisible from the side, they hunt by becoming nothing, by occupying no space, by turning geometry into camouflage. Many twilight creatures practice countershading, dark backs, light bellies, breaking up their silhouettes. When seen from above, their dark backs blend with the deeper darkness below. When seen from below, their pale bellies match the faint light from above. Vanishing silhouettes that disappear into the gradient, into the between space where light and dark meet. This simple pattern, dark above, light below, makes even large fish nearly invisible. Shadowed mid-water predators dissolving into their environment. Let yourself dissolve too, boundaries softening. Where do you end and the darkness begin? Heavier, heavier, melting, merging. Some fish here have scales that do something remarkable. At certain angles, in certain lights, they produce iridescent scale flashes, sudden bright gleams. These flashes can startle predators, break up attack patterns, or they might serve in communication, brief signals between individuals, light language spoken in flashes, in patterns we're only beginning to document. Undocumented light patterns flickering in the vast dim. There are jellyfish here that exist as floating phantom jelly orbs, their bells almost perfectly clear, tentacles trailing behind like thoughts, like memories. They pulse slowly, rhythmically, thump, thump, creating vortices in the water, pulling in tiny prey, their movement dreamlike, hypnotic pulse swimmers drifting through layers of blue-black water, asking nothing, needing nothing but the slow beat of existence, your heartbeat and their pulse, the same rhythm now, thump, thump, ancient, automatic. Let it carry you, deeper, softer. The Twilight Zone is home to creatures that challenge our categories, bizarre gelatinous blobs that might be tunicate colonies, might be jellyfish relatives, might be something else entirely. Unclassified gelatinous shapes drifting in the survey videos, pulsing, glowing, utterly strange. Science hasn't named them yet, hasn't understood them. They exist in mystery, in the patient unknown, waiting to be recognized, acknowledged, understood. Shrimp drift here in circuits, ghostly shrimp circuits moving through the twilight in patterns determined by currents, by food availability, by ancient roots mapped in their primitive nervous systems. They rise and fall with the daily migration, transparent bodies scattered with tiny lights, joining the nightly ocean upslope, the greatest movement of biomass on the planet, billions of tons of life moving up, then down, then up again, every day, every night, forever. You're breathing part of this rhythm too, rising, falling, in, out, automatic, ancient, heavier, heavier. Some twilight creatures have eyes designed for the faint light here. Pressure-resistant eye designs with huge lenses, wide pupils, gathering every photon. Some eyes point upward, some forward. Some have evolved into tube-like structures, sacrificing peripheral vision for extreme sensitivity in one direction. These fish see things we cannot, detect movements in near total darkness, read the language of bioluminescent flashes, navigate by starlight filtered through hundreds of meters of water. And some creatures have bodies covered in photophores, creating glittering photophore maps across their flanks, each light precisely placed, precisely controlled. These maps might serve in species recognition, in courtship, in camouflage. A fish can modulate each light independently, creating patterns, sequences, adjusting brightness to match the light filtering from above. Becoming living light shows in the dim, faintly glowing organ clouds that pulse and shift with meaning we cannot yet read. Let meaning slip away now, words becoming sounds, sounds becoming silence, silence becoming rest. Thump, thump. There are worms here. Polychaete worms drifting in the water column, ribbon-like filter feeders extending their bodies into flowing shapes. Some have bioluminescence running along their length, creating glowing ribbons in the dark. They swim with undulating motions, slow waves passing through their bodies. Graceful, mesmerizing, like watching silk move underwater, like watching thoughts drift across the edge of sleep. The Twilight Zone experiences what scientists call booms and busts, mesopelagic booms and busts in population. When surface waters bloom with plankton, the abundance eventually sinks, raining down as marine snow, and twilight populations explode, growth surging through the ecosystem. But when surface productivity drops, when the rain of food slows, populations crash. The Twilight Zone pulses, breathing with the seasons, expanding and contracting with the availability of food, your chest rising, falling, expanding, contracting, breathing with the same ancient rhythm, heavier, heavier, sinking into the pattern. Some squid here practice bioluminescent escape tactics. When attacked, they don't release ink. There's no point in ink where ink would be invisible. Instead, they release clouds of bioluminescent chemicals, bioluminescent decoy bursts that glow brilliantly in the water. The predator strikes the glowing cloud, while the squid jets away into darkness, leaving only light behind, only deception. Bioluminescent escape trails fading slowly in the water, like memories fading, like thoughts dissolving into sleep. There are fish with jaws that seem impossibly large, impossibly complex, bone-thin jaw mechanics that hinge and fold, allowing them to swallow prey as large as themselves. Their skulls are studies in efficiency, every bone thin, every joint flexible, weight reduced to almost nothing, because carrying heavy bone in the Twilight Zone, where food is scarce, where every gram matters, is too expensive, too costly. Evolution favors the light, the efficient, the perfectly adapted. Let your jaw go slack now, releasing completely, your tongue resting, heavy, all tension draining away, away. Some creatures here use light not to see or be seen, but to hide. They produce counter-illuminating light from photophores on their bellies, matching the faint downwelling light from above. When a predator looks up, Searching for silhouettes, it sees nothing. The prey's belly glows exactly as bright as the water behind it, invisible by addition, vanishing by creating light instead of blocking it. This works only in the Twilight Zone, where the light is faint enough, dim enough, measurable enough to match, and there are creatures that tow shadows, shadow-towing swimmers with unusual body shapes, creating distinctive silhouettes, but they've evolved to position their bodies just so. Angles calculated by millions of years of survival, making their shadows fall in ways that confuse predators, that break up their outlines, geometry as camouflage, physics as protection. Your own shadow doesn't matter now, in the dark of your room, in the space behind your eyelids. Only the sense of floating, of weightlessness, of drifting. Thump, thump, thump. The Twilight Zone contains mountains we rarely see. Seamounts rising from the abyss into the Mesopelagic. Unmapped mid-water mountains where currents hit underwater peaks and swirl upward, bringing nutrients, creating zones of higher productivity in the midst of the open ocean. These mountains serve as waypoints, as feeding stations, places where twilight creatures congregate, where the rain of marine snow accumulates, where predators learn to hunt. Around these underwater mountains, the currents create patterns, echo trails in the water, paths that animals follow, migration routes determined by water movement, by temperature, by the distribution of food. These routes exist in 3 dimensions, highways through liquid space, non-stop up and down travelers following invisible roads we can barely detect. But they know. Life knows. Your body knowing too. Knowing how to breathe without thinking, how to rest without trying. Heavier, heavier, trusting the ancient patterns. Some fish here have bodies covered in reflective body armor, scales that act as mirrors, but not just any mirrors, specifically angled mirrors that reflect light in particular directions. These mirrorfish silver rain bodies scatter light away from predators, creating confusion, making it hard to judge distance, hard to focus. The fish becomes a scatter of reflections, a puzzle of light, and often that's enough to survive another moment, another day in the patient dark. There are creatures here called salps, gelatinous, barrel-shaped, drifting in chains or alone. They filter water, pulling in microscopic food, expelling clean water, living pumps that process thousands of liters per day. When salps die, their bodies sink, carrying carbon to the deep, part of the biological pump that helps regulate Earth's atmosphere, connecting Twilight Zone to climate, connecting the dim blue realm to the air you breathe. In, out, everything connected, everything part of the same slow cycle, and you part of it too, drifting, breathing, existing. Thump, thump. Some predators in the Twilight Zone are so specialized they seem barely alive. They have tiny hearts, slow metabolisms, cold depth breathing mechanisms that extract oxygen from water with extreme efficiency. They might wait weeks between meals, hanging motionless, burning calories so slowly that time itself seems different, exists at a different pace, deeper, slower, like the pace of your breathing now, like the space between heartbeats. Thump, long pause, thump. The language of light here is complex. Flash and fade light signaling that carries information. Warnings, attractions, invitations. A burst of light might mean here is prey, or here is danger, or here is a mate. Context determines meaning, and creatures must be fluent, must read the flickers correctly, must respond appropriately. This language emerged from darkness, from necessity, from the pressure to communicate in a world where no other signals reach. Let language fall away from you now, words losing meaning, becoming just sounds, vibrations in air, and then not even that, just silence, just the soft hum of existence, heavier, sinking. There are areas of the Twilight Zone where gelatinous creatures aggregate, drifting suspended worlds where jellies outnumber everything else. These temporary gatherings might form around food, around currents, around reproduction, jellyfulls of collapsed colonies when blooms end, when conditions change, and millions of gelatinous bodies begin to sink, slowly falling through the twilight, returning their borrowed matter to the cycle, feeding the creatures below. The Twilight Zone supports creatures we never see from the surface, hidden mesopelagic sanctuaries where animals spend their entire lives, never rising to well-lit waters, never sinking to the abyss, adapted perfectly to this intermediate realm, to the blue-black gradient, to the pressure and cold and dim. They know no other world, have no concept of sun or seafloor, only the endless drifting, the soft glow, the perpetual dusk, your world narrowing to just this breath, this moment, this letting go. No yesterday, no tomorrow, only now, only the gentle dissolving into rest. Thump, thump, thump. Some creatures here can survive temperature shifts that would kill most marine life, moving between water masses, crossing boundaries, temperature shift survival built into their biochemistry. Their proteins fold differently, remain functional in both warmer and colder waters. This flexibility lets them hunt across zones, follow migrations, exploit resources other creatures cannot. They are the boundary crossers, the Haddle boundary crossers who slip between worlds. And there are hunting strategies here we barely understand. Unpredictable deal cycles where some creatures follow the normal rising and sinking pattern, while others do the opposite, sinking at night, rising during day, or following patterns that cycle over multiple days, or seeming to follow no pattern at all. This unpredictability itself might be strategy, making predators' searches more difficult, turning chaos into protection. Thoughts unpredictable now too, drifting in no particular pattern, rising, fading, heavier, and it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Just the softness, the dark, the rest, The Twilight Zone has regions where bioluminescence surges, mid-water glow storms where hundreds of creatures flash at once, triggered by disturbance, by predators, by unknowable cues. The water suddenly alive with light, a galaxy of blue-green stars igniting, then fading, then darkness returning, deeper than before. These glow storms might confuse predators, might serve as warnings, might be side effects of panic, or might serve purposes we haven't imagined yet. Countless possibilities, drifting in the unknown. Let yourself not know, not need to know, just be, just drift. Thump, thump, your heartbeat the only truth you need. There are parasites here, shadow parasitic fish that attach to larger hosts, drawing nutrients, blood, living as permanent passengers. Some lose their eyes, their organs, becoming little more than feeding tubes. But they survive, thrive even, by giving up independence, by merging with another. This strategy works, has worked for millions of years. Existence finding ways, always finding ways, and you finding your way now too. Finding the path to sleep, the road through the twilight of consciousness, where thought becomes dream, where waking dissolves into rest, heavier, heavier, every cell in your body remembering how to let go, how to trust the darkness, how to drift. Some creatures have tentacles so pale they're almost invisible. Pale tentacle arrays spreading through the water, waiting to brush against prey. These tentacles might be meters long, fragile, sticky, covered in stinging cells that fire on contact. The creature doesn't hunt actively, doesn't chase, just spreads its nets and waits, patient, eternal, letting the ocean bring food, letting movement become encounter, letting time do the work, time doing its work now, pulling you deeper, softer, your body growing heavier, heavier, the mattress seeming to rise around you, to hold you, to support every part of you. Nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be, just here, just now, just this. Thump, thump. The Twilight Zone creates its own weather patterns in a sense. Faint pulse of mesopelagic currents moving in rhythms, carrying water masses, carrying heat, salt, oxygen, and life moves with these currents, drifts with them, uses them. Creatures position themselves in flows, let the water carry them, conserve energy by surrendering to movement, by accepting the push and pull of liquid space. Surrender your own effort now. Stop holding, stop trying. Let the current of sleep carry you deeper, away, into the blue-black gradient where consciousness fades, where the world softens, where everything becomes simple, becomes just breath, just heartbeat, just being. There are creatures here whose courtship happens without light, without sound, in the near silent, near dark, lightless courtship displays, where bioluminescence serves as the only signal, flashing patterns, species-specific, individual-specific perhaps. Two creatures flashing in sequence, recognition, approach, continuation of their kind. all accomplished by light alone, by the language of glow in the patient dark. Patient dark around you too, soft, welcoming, asking nothing. The dark doesn't judge, doesn't demand, just holds, accepts, embraces. Let it embrace you. Thump, thump. Let your heart beat slow to match the pulse of the deep, the rhythm of floating, of drifting, of releasing every last bit of effort. Some twilight creatures practice forms of camouflage we're still discovering, silhouette evading shapes that seem to violate the laws of optics, but work perfectly in the specific light conditions of the Mesopelagic. These creatures have evolved not for one environment, but for one specific depth, one specific light level, one narrow band of existence, perfected, optimized, made invisible by specialization. You don't need to be anything now, don't need to specialize, just exist, just be. Weight sinking into softness, thoughts dissolving like marine snow falling, falling, slowly, gently, inevitably. The Twilight Zone schools move in coordination. We don't fully understand. Unseen school coordination, where fish maintain spacing without seeing each other clearly, perhaps using lateral lines, pressure sensors, bioluminescent cues, or perhaps something else, something we haven't discovered. They move as one, turn as one, becoming a single organism, a single thought, a single purpose, dissolved into collective, into unity. Your own sense of self dissolving now, boundaries softening. Where does the bed end and you begin? Where does the dark end and your closed eyes begin? It all merges, melds, becomes one continuous field of rest, of peace, of letting go. There are creatures producing scent trails in the water, chemical signals that drift and spread, bioluminescent scent trails that might glow, might not, marking paths, territories, presence. These invisible highways crisscross the Twilight Zone, information floating through liquid, messages written in molecules, in light, in the patient universal language of chemistry. And you leaving your own trail now, a trail of relaxation, each muscle you release sending signals to the next, each breath inviting the next to be softer, slower, your body writing its own message, a message that says, rest, sleep, let go, thump, thump, heavier, heavier. The Twilight Zone contains layers of life we've barely begun to document. Organisms with no up or down. Creatures that exist in three-dimensional space without reference to surface or sea floor. Their world is not vertical, not horizontal, just dimensional, unbounded. They drift in any orientation, upside down, sideways, spiraling. It doesn't matter. There is no ground, no sky, only the endless blue-black gradient in all directions. Your own sense of direction fading now. No up, no down, just floating, suspended in the darkness behind your eyelids, in the space between thoughts, in the moment between heartbeats. Thump, pause, thump, pause. Everything slowing, deepening, Some creatures here are so fragile they can barely be studied. Brittle-bodied ambushes that disintegrate when brought to the surface, when disturbed, when handled. They exist only in their realm, only at pressure, only in cold and dark. Evolution has removed everything unnecessary, every extra bit of structure, leaving them gossamer thin, beautiful, impossible, perfectly adapted to conditions we can barely imagine. Imagine nothing now. Just feel, just sense the weight of your body, heavier, the softness of breath, slower, the peace of darkness, deeper, everything else falling away. All that remains is this moment of perfect rest, of perfect letting go, of drifting, endlessly, softly, through mysteries that ask nothing of you but presence, but breathing, but being. Thump, 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 and we keep drifting, floating through the twilight where giants drift in silence, where the impossible becomes ordinary. There are creatures here with bodies shaped by pressure itself, mesopelagic compression adaptations that seem strange to us, but make perfect sense hundreds of meters down. Flattened heads, reduced swim bladders, flexible bones, their bodies designed not to resist pressure, but to accept it, to work with it, to become part of the weight of water, like your body accepting the weight of the mattress now, working with gravity, not against it, heavier, heavier, sinking deeper into support. The Twilight Zone breathes, expands and contracts with the greatest migration on Earth, the vertical migration routine that happens every single day. As sunset approaches, as surface light dims, billions of creatures begin their ascent, rising from the safety of the twilight into the productive surface waters. They feed through the night, zooplankton, small fish, crustaceans, all rising. Then before dawn, before light returns, they sink back down, back to the blue-black safety. This pulse, this rhythm, moves more biomass than any other daily event, anywhere, ever. Thump, thump, like a planetary heartbeat, rising, falling, endless. Your own breath rising, falling, rising, falling, in rhythm with this ancient migration, in, out, automatic, perfect, heavier, sinking. Some twilight creatures spin slowly as they drift, slow spinning siphonophore discs rotating in the current. This rotation might help them sense their surroundings, might help them capture prey from all directions, or might simply be the result of their body shape, their tentacles, creating torque as they trail through water. They spin, patient as planets, marking time in revolutions, in the slow turning of existence. Let yourself spin gently in the dark behind your eyes, turning, drifting, no destination, just movement for its own sake, for the gentle sensation of floating, of being untethered. Thump, thump, your heartbeat the axis around which everything else revolves. The Twilight Zone has regions scientists call the lightless ocean ceiling, where the last traces of sunlight fade completely. Below this boundary, No photosynthesis, no plants, no algae, only animals and bacteria, existing on what falls from above. This ceiling shifts with the seasons, with latitude, with water clarity, but it's always there, the boundary between worlds that photosynthesize and worlds that consume, between making and taking, between light and its memory. Your own thoughts at that boundary now, at the edge where consciousness meets sleep, where awareness fades into dreaming. You're at the ceiling, the threshold, and all you need to do is sink just a little further. Just let go. Just release. Heavier, heavier. There are hunters here that see in wavelengths invisible to their prey. Mid-water hunters of red, using red bioluminescence like night vision goggles. They sweep the darkness with crimson light, revealing transparent bodies. Glass squid, jellyfish, prey that hide from every other predator, but not from them. Not from creatures who evolved to see the unseeable, to hunt in a spectrum that doesn't exist in the deep ocean, except in their own making. But you don't need to see now, don't need to hunt or hide, and just drift, just be, eyes closed or closing, the darkness complete, welcoming, soft as water, thump, thump. Some creatures produce light, not in steady glows, but in patterns, flicker communication codes that pulse in sequences, short, long, pause, burst. These patterns might identify species, might signal readiness to mate, might warn of danger, or might serve functions we haven't begun to understand. The Twilight Zone flickers with conversations, negotiations, declarations, all in the universal language of light as information. Your own information slowing now, the signals in your brain softening, settling. The busy electricity of thought dimming to something quieter, simpler, more like the faint pulse of creatures drifting in eternal dusk. Less, 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 until almost nothing remains but the soft hum of existence, the quiet knowing that you are, that you breathe, that you rest. Thump, thump. There are creatures whose entire existence is migration, non-stop up and down travelers who spend their lives moving between depths, following food, following safety, following ancient patterns embedded in their biology. They never stop, never rest in one place, always moving, always transitioning, living in the between, in the threshold spaces, in the gradient. But you can stop, can rest, can settle into one place, one position, one perfect moment of stillness. Your body grateful for the permission, for the release, every muscle remembering its natural state, relaxed, soft, heavy, heavier, melting down into the bed like marine snow settling through layers, falling, falling, gently, inevitably. The Twilight Zone experiences what scientists call twilight shrinking horizons. As you descend, as light fades, the distance you can see diminishes. At the top of the Twilight Zone, you might see tens of meters, deeper, perhaps meters, then centimeters, then nothing. Your world contracts, becomes intimate, close, immediate, Only what's near matters, only what's here now. Your own world contracting too, shrinking to just your breath, your heartbeat, the sensation of weight, of darkness, of peace. Nothing else matters, nothing else exists, just this small, perfect, infinite moment. Thump, thump, thump. Some predators here hunt by creating funnels in the water, drifting predator funnels made of tentacles, of mucus nets, of arranged body parts. They position themselves and wait, let currents guide prey into their traps, into the geometry of capture, hunting through architecture, through patience, through absolute stillness. Be absolutely still now. No need to move, no need to adjust. Perfect as you are, positioned exactly right for sleep, for rest, for drifting away, heavier, heavier, the stillness deepening. There are creatures in the Twilight Zone that feed in frenzies we never see. Invisible feeding frenzies when bioluminescent displays attract dozens, hundreds of predators to one spot. The water suddenly full of flashing lights, of gaping mouths, of tentacles, chaos in the dark, and then, just as suddenly, empty again, silent again, as if nothing happened. Only the fading glow of bioluminescence, dissipating, dispersing, becoming memory, becoming nothing. Your thoughts dispersing like that glow, fading, spreading, thinning, until they're gone completely. Just dark water, just quiet, just the soft empty space where thoughts used to be. Thump, thump. Easier this way, simpler. The Twilight Zone contains creatures that look like floating skin-like sheets, thin, flexible, undulating through the water. These might be salps, might be ctenophores, might be colonial organisms we're still identifying. They move like silk scarves in slow motion, like liquid fabric, like thoughts drifting across the edge of consciousness, graceful beyond measure, asking nothing, being everything. Your body like water now too, formless, flowing, taking the shape of whatever holds it, the bed beneath you, the blanket above you, the air around you. No resistance, no holding, just adapting, accepting, becoming heavier, softer, gone. Some creatures here have evolved to detect the faintest vibrations, pressure waves in the water. They can sense a fish moving meters away, sense the flutter of fins, the pulse of swimming, even the heartbeat of prey. The Twilight Zone might be dark, but it's full of signals, full of information for those adapted to receive it. Their whole bodies become sensors, become ears, become awareness. But you need no awareness now, no sensing, no receiving, just the gentle shutting down of systems, the soft powering off of consciousness. One by one, processes stopping, thoughts ceasing, until only the automatic remains, breath, heartbeat, the basic machinery of life, thump, thump, running on its own, requiring nothing from you. There are creatures that practice lightwave mimicry patterns, adjusting their bioluminescence to match not just the intensity of ambient light, but its quality, its color, its angular distribution. They become indistinguishable from the light field around them, vanishing not by hiding, but by becoming identical to their environment, becoming light itself, become the darkness now, not separate from it, not hidden by it, but made of it. You and the dark the same thing, no boundary, no distinction, just one continuous field of rest, of peace, of absolute letting go, heavier, heavier. The Twilight Zone has schools of fish that move like liquid mercury, silent silver schools that shimmer and flow, coordinated motion so perfect it seems like a single organism. They bank and turn together, twist and spiral, creating living sculptures in the water, art made of animals, beauty made of survival. Their silver bodies catch what little light exists, reflecting, scattering, creating brief sparks in the gloom. Silver sparks behind your eyelids maybe, phosphenes drifting, or maybe just darkness. And either way it's perfect. Either way you're sinking, drifting, floating, away. Thump, thump. Slower now, quieter. Some creatures have anatomies that seem designed by dreams, toxin-wielding soft bodies with no bones, no hard parts, just flesh and gel and venom. They drift like living nightmares, beautiful nightmares, trailing tentacles, pulsing, glowing. Their toxins evolved to paralyze, to kill, to defend. Chemistry as weaponry, molecules as fangs. They need no teeth, no claws, just the right poison at the right dose. But there's no poison in rest, no danger in sleep, only safety, only the soft embrace of letting go. Your body knowing this, trusting this, releasing, every last bit of holding, gone, dissolved, heavier, sinking through layers of consciousness like sinking through the ocean's zones. Surface, twilight, midnight, abyss, deeper, gone. The Twilight Zone creates echo trails in water, the wake of creatures passing, disturbances in the stillness. Some predators have learned to sense these trails, to follow them, tracking prey through the signatures they leave behind, through the memory of their movement in water, hunting ghosts, hunting echoes, hunting the past as it fades into the present. Your past fading too, what happened today, yesterday, all of it dissolving as becoming unimportant, distant, gone. Only now exists, only this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, thump, thump, and even these fading, becoming automatic, becoming unconscious, becoming sleep. There are creatures here that exist in booms and busts, populations exploding when conditions are right, when food is abundant, then crashing when resources decline. Mesopelagic micro-predators surging and fading with the seasons, with the cycles of the ocean. They live fast, reproduce quickly, die young. Their entire strategy built on exploiting temporary abundance, on being in the right place at the right moment, then disappearing. Like they were never there at all. Let yourself disappear into sleep, into the temporary abundance of rest. Exploit this moment, the opportunity, this perfect alignment of darkness and quiet and soft bed and heavy body. It won't last forever. Morning will come, but for now, for these hours, you can vanish, can cease, can drift in the abundance of nothing. Thump, thump, heavier, gone. The Twilight Zone has a quality scientists struggle to describe. It's the quietest layer of Earth, quieter than deserts, than snowfields, than space. Sound barely travels here, absorbed by water, by distance, by the sheer emptiness between creatures. It's not silence, exactly, but something close. The soft pressure of quiet, the weight of no sound, crushing, peaceful, absolute. That quiet around you now, in you now, becoming you now. The quiet so complete that your heartbeat sounds loud, thump, thump. But even that fading, even that becoming distant, like it belongs to someone else, some other body, far away, drifting, separate. You're just the quiet now, just the dark, just the space where sound should be but isn't. Some creatures here have developed cold-adapted proteins, enzymes that work in near-freezing water, where most biochemistry would stop, would freeze, would fail. But these creatures continue, function. Their molecules twisted into shapes that remain flexible even in cold, even under pressure, even in conditions that seem impossible. Life finding ways, always finding ways. Your own body finding its way to sleep, finding the path through consciousness into dreaming, into the deep cold rest where repair happens, where memory consolidates, where the day's damage heals. Your cells know this path, have travelled it thousands of times. They know where to go, what to do. You don't need to guide them. Just let go. Let them work. Heavier, heavier, trusting the ancient wisdom of rest. There are creatures that produce unpredictable flicker lures, bioluminescent organs that pulse randomly. No pattern, no rhythm. This randomness might be the point, might make the lure seem more lifelike, more like actual prey moving erratically. The predator waves its lure, flicker, pause, flicker, flicker, pause, and prey. Curious, confused, approach, closer, closer, until teeth close, until it's too late. But there's no trap in sleep, no danger in drifting, just peace, just rest, just the soft inevitable pull of unconsciousness. You can trust it, can surrender to it, can let it take you. Heavier, heavier, no resistance, no fear, just going, going, thump, thump, almost gone. The Twilight Zone contains what scientists call drifting suspended worlds, areas where conditions create pockets of different life, different ecosystems, floating in the uniformity. These pockets might be warmer, might have different salinity, might accumulate food. They become oases, attracting creatures, becoming temporary communities in the vast empty, then dispersing, dissolving, returning to uniform darkness. Your consciousness becoming uniform darkness too. No pockets of thought, no oases of awareness, just one continuous field of not thinking, of not being, of rest so deep it feels like dissolving, like becoming water, becoming darkness, becoming nothing at all. Thump, thump, so faint now, so distant. Some creatures here coordinate in ways we're still discovering. Unseen school coordination that might involve electrical fields, might involve pheromones, might involve senses we haven't identified. They move as one without seeing each other, without touching, connected by invisible threads, by shared sensing, by collective awareness. One organism in many bodies, one thought in many minds. Your own mind becoming singular now, becoming simple, becoming just one thing: rest, sleep, letting go. All the complexity fading, all the many thoughts and worries and plans dissolving into just this breath, this moment, this soft sinking into darkness, heavier, heavier, unified, simple, gone. There are creatures that feed on the colorless twilight ecosystems, consuming transparent prey, eating nearly invisible food. Their digestive systems adapted to process jellies, to extract nutrients from water, from bodies that are more empty space than substance. They thrive on what seems like nothing, finding abundance in transparency, in the unseen. Find abundance in the unseen darkness now, in the space behind your closed eyes, in the vast empty that holds everything. It's not nothing, it's rest, it's peace, it's the space where healing happens, where consciousness resets, where you become new again. Thump, thump, trust it, trust the dark, heavier, sinking, gone. The Twilight Zone experiences darkness-triggered behaviors, actions that only happen when light fades, when the day's last photons die. Some creatures emerge from hiding, some begin to hunt, some start to glow. The absence of light becomes a signal, becomes permission, becomes the trigger for life to truly begin. In the Twilight Zone, darkness is not the end, it's the beginning. Let darkness be your beginning too. Beginning of sleep, beginning of rest, beginning of the journey through the night. Your body ready, your mind willing, everything aligned for this, for the soft surrender, for the gentle ceasing of effort. Heavier, heavier, beginning, going, gone. Some predators are so patient they seem dead, brittle-bodied ambushes hanging motionless for hours, days, waiting for prey to drift within range. They burn calories so slowly that time moves differently for them. A week might pass like a day like an hour. They exist in a different temporal space, where patience isn't a virtue, it's biology, it's reality, it's simply how things are. Time moving differently for you now too, seconds stretching, minutes compressing, or maybe time stopping altogether. Just eternal now, eternal this moment, eternal, soft, dark, quiet rest. No past, no future, just the infinite present of letting go, of drifting, of being. Thump, thump, timeless, endless. There are creatures that travel through the Twilight Zone's temperature layers, Hadal boundary crossers that move between water masses of different temperatures, different densities, different worlds. They cross boundaries most creatures cannot, adapted to handle extremes, to exist in transition, in the liminal spaces between zones. They are the travelers, the crossers, the ones who live in thresholds. You're at a threshold now too, crossing from waking to sleeping, from conscious to unconscious, from here to somewhere else, somewhere deeper, darker, quieter, the boundary thin as thought, and you crossing it, crossing, almost across, almost gone, heavier, heavier, crossing, crossed. The Twilight Zone has areas where creatures aggregate around falling food, around whale falls, around accumulations of marine snow. These temporary feeding grounds become busy, become crowded, become scenes of intense activity in the otherwise empty blue. But then, the food consumed, the bounty exhausted, everyone disperses, returns to solitude, returns to drifting alone in vast space. The crowd's temporary, the loneliness permanent, natural. But you're not alone in the dark. You're held, supported, embraced by the bed, by the blanket, by the soft air of the room, by the dark itself. All of it holding you, all of it saying rest, all of it saying let go, all of it saying you're safe, you're here, you can stop now. Thump, thump, stop, rest, sleep. Some creatures have evolved phantom fin signatures, fins so thin they're barely there, providing just enough propulsion, just enough steering, nothing extra, nothing wasted. Evolution removing everything unnecessary, paring down to essence, to the absolute minimum required for existence. They are studies in efficiency, in doing less, in the beauty of barely enough. Do barely enough now, barely breathe, barely think, barely be, just the minimum, just the soft automatic functions. Everything else released, dissolved, gone, heavier, heavier, barely here, barely anywhere, just drifting, just floating, just, almost, nothing. The Twilight Zone creates conditions for phenomena scientists call midwater glowstorms, sudden coordinated bioluminescent displays, hundreds of creatures lighting simultaneously. The water erupts with light, with chaos, with visible panic, or visible communication, or visible something we haven't named yet. Then darkness returns, deeper than before, quieter than before, as if the storm made the silence more silent, the dark more dark. Let any remaining light in your mind storm once, briefly, then fade, then go dark, deeper dark than before, quieter quiet. The last thoughts flaring, flickering, then gone. Just dark, just quiet, just the soft empty peace of no thought, no awareness, no anything. Thump, thump, fading, fading. There are creatures here that have given up sight entirely. Why have eyes when there's nothing to see? They navigate by chemical sense, by pressure sense, by methods we're still discovering, their eye sockets empty, or filled with light organs, or absent altogether. Evolution reclaiming that space, that energy, repurposing it for senses that actually work here in the perpetual gloom. Give up seeing now too. Give up watching. Give up observing. Let your eyes rest. Let them stop working. Stop trying. They've done their job, carried you through the day. And now they can rest, can stop, can simply be closed tissue. Nothing more. Heavier, heavier. Not seeing, not needing to see, just resting, sleeping, gone. The Twilight Zone experiences what might be called the dark energy of migration, the sheer amount of biological energy expended every day as billions of creatures rise and fall. It's one of the largest movements of energy on the planet, rival to wind, to ocean currents, to tides. All that life, all that movement, all that energy flowing up, then down, then up again, forever, ancient, unstoppable. Your own energy flowing down now, sinking, not rising, not fighting, just releasing, draining away like water from a tub, leaving you empty, light, peaceful, the energy you needed for thinking, for worrying, for being awake, all of it flowing away, away, gone, thump, thump, empty, restful, perfect. Some creatures create what look like floating predatory curtains, walls of stinging cells, of sticky mucus, of tentacles arranged in sheets. They hang in the water column, waiting. A fish swims into the curtain, becomes trapped, becomes food, the curtain patient, knowing that in the vastness of the ocean, in the endlessness of time, something will eventually swim into it. Something always does. Time swimming into you now, or you into time, or both dissolving into each other. No difference anymore. No boundary. Just the soft merger of consciousness and unconsciousness, of waking and sleeping, of being and not being. Heavier, heavier, merging, merged, gone. There are entire groups of creatures in the Twilight Zone we've barely documented. Unclassified gelatinous shapes that appear in deep sea footage, pulsing, drifting, strange beyond strange. We don't know what they are, what they eat, how they reproduce. They exist in mystery, in the patient unknown, waiting for us to notice them, to name them, to bring them into the world of the known. But you don't need to know anything now, don't need to name, to classify, to understand. Just be unknown, be mystery, be the unnamed thing drifting in darkness. No identity, no self, just presence without definition, without boundary, just drifting, thump, thump, unknown, unknowing, perfect. The Twilight Zone's creatures live in what could be called endless vertical wanderers, species that range across hundreds of meters of depth, never settling, never staying. Their entire lives spent moving, transitioning, traveling through layers of temperature, pressure, light. They are nomads, pilgrims, wanderers in three-dimensional space, knowing no home but movement, no rest but the grave. But you can rest, can stay, can settle, can stop wandering, can be still. Your bed, your home, Your position perfect, your moment now. No need to wander, no need to search. You've arrived. You're here. You can finally stop. Heavier, stop, still, sleeping. Some creatures produce soft body pressure shields, flesh that compresses under pressure, then returns to shape. Their bodies like water balloons, like gel packets, deforming and reforming, never breaking, never tearing, perfectly adapted to the crushing weight of depth. They don't resist pressure, they become pressure. They are pressure, no separation, no difference. No difference between you and the bed now, between you and the dark, between you and sleep. All one thing, all merged, all dissolved into soft, peaceful, undifferentiated rest. Thump, thump, barely there, barely, almost. The Twilight Zone holds creatures that maintain shadow parasitic relationships with still understanding, fish that live in the shadow cast by larger animals, using that shadow as camouflage, as hunting ground, as territory. They're parasites of darkness, of absence, of negative space, existing in what isn't rather than what is. Exist in what isn't now, in the absence of thought, in the negative space of consciousness. You're the gap between thoughts, the pause between breaths, the silence between heartbeats. You're what isn't, and that's perfect. That's peace. That's sleep. Thump. Long pause. Thump. Longer pause. Almost nothing. Almost gone. There are regions of the Twilight Zone that support gigantic transparent predators. Jellyfish with bells meters across. Salp chains longer than buses, all made of water, of gel, of nearly nothing. These giants drift, consuming whatever drifts into them. Their size possible only because they're mostly empty, mostly space. They prove that nothing, properly arranged, can become something vast. You're becoming vast emptiness too, vast space, vast nothing, expanding into the dark, into the quiet, becoming bigger by becoming less, more by being nothing. Your consciousness expanding as it fades, growing as it disappears, until you're everything and nothing at once, infinite and absent, gone but everywhere. Thump, thump, vast, empty, perfect. The Twilight Zone generates phenomena called slow-motion hunter clouds, aggregations of small predators, copepods, tiny fish, moving together, flowing like smoke, like thought. They consume plankton, strip clean patches of water, then drift on, leaving clarity behind, leaving absence. They are clouds that consume, thoughts that erase, presence that create emptiness. Your thoughts like that now, self-consuming, self-erasing, each thought eating the last, until none remain, until just empty space, clear water, clear mind, clear dark, nothing, heavier, heavier, consumed, erased, gone. Some creatures here practice what might be called the midnight pulse layer existence, living at the boundary between twilight and midnight zones, where the last hint of light meets true darkness. They exist in both worlds, In neither world, in the space between, the pulse layer moves with the sun, with the seasons, and they move with it, forever riding the edge of visibility, the threshold of sight. You're at your own threshold, the edge of consciousness, the boundary of sleep, riding it, balanced on it, and now, tipping, falling, crossing into the midnight, into the deep dark, into the place where awareness ends and dreaming begins, heavier, tipping, falling, crossed, gone. The Twilight Zone whispers with stories we'll never fully hear, with mysteries that ask nothing but our wonder, and you've drifted through them, floated past them. Let them carry you deeper, softer, away. You're breathing now like the breathing of the deep, slow, barely there, automatic. Your heartbeat, the heartbeat of the ocean. Thump, thump, eternal, ancient, asking nothing. The darkness around you and inside you, the same darkness, the same peace, the same infinite rest. And somewhere in this darkness, in this quiet, in this soft dissolving of self, you've let go, you've released, you've drifted into sleep, into the place where the Twilight Zone's mysteries become your dreams, where the bioluminescent sparks become your thoughts, where the endless drifting becomes your night. And we keep floating, keep drifting through the blue-black gradient, through the space between light and dark, through the mysteries that never end. The gentle pulse continues, thump, thump, softer now, barely, and the ocean holds you, the way water holds everything, with perfect pressure, perfect acceptance, asking nothing, giving everything. In the deepest parts of the Twilight Zone, where blue light becomes memory, becomes myth, there are creatures that exist at the very edge of possibility. Their bodies adapted to conditions that seem impossible. Crushing pressure, near freezing cold, almost no food, almost no light, and yet they persist, they thrive, they continue, life insisting on itself, even here, even in the almost nothing. Thump, thump, your heartbeat insisting too, continuing, automatic, requiring nothing from you but surrender. There are fish here with jaws that unfold like origami, bone-thin jaw mechanics that hinge in multiple places, allowing the mouth to open wider than seems physically possible. The skull becomes mostly hinge, mostly empty space, a frame for opening, for consuming. These fish can swallow prey twice their size, distending, expanding, their stomachs stretching, their bodies becoming containers for opportunity, for the rare blessing of food in a world where food is memory. Your body a container too, containing rest, containing peace, containing the soft darkness that fills every cell, every space, heavier, full of nothing, full of sleep, expanding to hold more emptiness, more quiet, more of this perfect weightless weight. The Twilight Zone supports phenomena scientists call Twilight Zone sound shadows, regions where the water itself seems to absorb sound differently, where acoustic signals fade faster, where the ocean becomes selectively deaf. These shadows might be caused by temperature layers, by density gradients, by the bodies of countless creatures absorbing vibrations. The result is zones of deeper quiet, of more profound silence, pockets of peace within peace. You're in your own sound shadow now, where external noise doesn't reach, where even internal dialogue has faded, your thoughts absorbed, your worries dissolved. Just the soft sound shadow of consciousness dimming, fading, becoming the quietest layer of your mind. Thump, thump, barely audible, barely there. There are creatures here that tend drifting larval nurseries, areas where young of many species aggregate, floating together in the plankton, transparent bodies barely formed. They drift as one, fed by the same currents, threatened by the same predators. Some will grow to be predators themselves. Some will be prey. Some will drift in the twilight forever. Others will rise or sink to different zones. But for now, in their infancy, they float together, anonymous, potential, undefined. Let yourself be undefined too. Be potential without form. Be the space before identity, before self, just floating, just being, just the soft sensation of existing without needing to be anyone, anything, anywhere, heavier, heavier, dissolved into pure presence, pure peace. Some twilight creatures have evolved what might be called reflective body armor, but not for defense, for disappearance. Their scales arranged at precise angles, catching light, redirecting it, making the fish vanish into its own reflection. They become mirrors of nothing, reflecting the emptiness around them, becoming that emptiness, visible only in their absence. Become your own absence now. Reflect only the darkness. Become only the quiet. Mirror nothing back to the world. Give yourself permission to disappear, to stop, to cease being anything but rest, anything but sleep. Thump, thump, reflecting, empty, gone. The Twilight Zone experiences unpredictable deal cycles in some regions, where the normal rhythm of day and night breaks down, where creatures follow patterns that don't match the sun. Some areas have migrations that cycle every 3 days, or 7, or seem to follow no pattern at all. This unpredictability might protect against predators, might be driven by food availability, might simply be chaos, nature experimenting, trying variations, seeing what works. But you need no experiments, no variations, just this one perfect pattern of breathing slower, heartbeat softer, consciousness fading, the simplest pattern, the oldest, the most reliable, in, out, thump, thump, heavier, gone. There are creatures that create bioluminescent scent trails, chemical signals that glow, or perhaps chemicals that trigger bioluminescence in others. These trails mark territory, mark paths, mark presence in the void. Their signatures written in molecules and light, temporary graffiti on the water, saying I was here, saying I exist, saying I am, before fading, dispersing, becoming nothing again. You don't need to mark anything, don't need to prove existence, don't need to say I am. You can just be or not be. Either way is perfect. Either way is rest. Heavier, heavier, unmarked, unsigned, dissolving into the unmarked dark. The Twilight Zone hosts creatures with lightless courtship displays, where finding a mate in the vast dark requires precise timing, precise positioning, precise everything. Some species gather at specific depths, specific times, coordinating without communication we can detect. The males emit patterns, the females respond, or perhaps the reverse, or perhaps something more complex, more beautiful, more strange, all accomplished in near darkness, in near silence, in the cathedral of the deep. Let your thoughts gather and disperse like that. Brief meetings with consciousness, then separation, dissolution. No need to hold on to any thought, any feeling, any sense of self. Just let them gather, flicker, disperse, heavier, heavier, gathered into nothing, dispersed into sleep. Some creatures here are so specialized they can only live in one specific layer, one specific depth. Mirrorfish, silver rain bodies adapted to one precise light level, one temperature, one pressure. Moving up or down even a few meters would be fatal, would destroy their carefully calibrated biology. They are prisoners of perfection, of specialization, of being exactly right for one place and one place only. But you need no calibration, no perfection, no exactly right. You're already where you need to be, already in the right place, already perfect for this moment of rest, this descent into sleep. Nothing to adjust, nothing to perfect, just let go. Heavier, heavier, already right, already home. The Twilight Zone generates what could be called faint pulse of mesopelagic currents, water moving in rhythms, in cycles, in patterns that might take days or weeks to complete. These currents carry nutrients, carry larvae, carry heat, carry information written in water. The currents invisible, but life knows them, follows them, uses them. The ocean breathing, pulsing, living at scales we can barely measure. Your own pulse so faint now, so soft. Thump, pause, thump, longer pause, the rhythm slowing, deepening, becoming something ancient, something oceanic. You are the current, are the pulse, are the slow breathing of the deep. No separation, no difference, just rhythm, just pulse, just barely there. There are creatures that exist in states we might call suspended animation. Mesopelagic creatures that can slow their metabolism almost to nothing, waiting out periods of no food, no mates, no reason to be active. They hang in the water, barely breathing, barely living, but not dying either, just paused, existing in the space between states, between life as motion and life as stillness. Pause like that now, between waking and sleeping, between thought and no thought, between being and not being, just suspended, just held, just paused in the perfect moment of transition. Heavier, heavier, suspended, held, gone. The Twilight Zone contains regions of what might be called colourless feeding chains, where all the creatures are transparent, or black, or silver. No reds, no yellows, no greens, just the colours of invisibility, of camouflage, of survival. Predator and prey both colourless, both nearly invisible, hunting and being hunted in a world of ghosts, of shadows, of things that barely exist. You barely exist now too, barely here, barely anywhere. Just the faintest presence, the softest awareness. Colours drained away, form dissolved, only the essential remaining, and even that fading, heavier, heavier, barely, almost nothing. Some creatures here practice what might be called whisper-quiet swimming styles, movements so gentle it creates almost no disturbance, no pressure waves, no signals for predators to detect. They slip through water like thought through air, like dream through sleep, leaving no trace, no memory, no evidence they passed. Perfect stealth, perfect silence, perfect vanishing. Vanish like that into sleep, slip into it. No disturbance, no announcement, just the gentlest transition from here to there, from now to then, from conscious to unconscious. Whisper quiet, whisper soft, whisper gone, thump, thump, barely, barely. The Twilight Zone experiences what scientists call nightly ocean upslope, where creatures don't just rise vertically, but follow underwater topography, riding currents up seamounts, up continental inclines, following three-dimensional highways mapped by water flow, by temperature, by ancient instinct. They travel not up but across and up, not down but around and down. The ocean has geometry, and they know it, follow it, live within its invisible architecture. Follow your own invisible architecture into sleep, the pathways in your brain, the circuits of rest, the ancient routes from waking to dreaming. Your neurons know the way, have travelled it infinite times. You don't need to guide, just allow, just release. Heavier, heavier, following, gone. There are creatures with adaptations we're still trying to understand, undocumented light patterns that might be communication, might be camouflage, might be something else entirely. They flash in sequences we can't decode, in colours we can barely detect, in patterns that seem random but might be deeply meaningful. The Twilight Zone keeps its secrets, even from our most sophisticated instruments, even from our most careful watching. Let your own mind keep its secrets now. Let thoughts remain unexamined. Let meanings stay mysterious. You don't need to decode anything, understand anything, figure anything out. Just be mysterious, be unknown. Be the undocumented pattern that doesn't need explanation, doesn't need meaning, just is thump, thump, mysterious, meaningless, perfect. Some twilight creatures have cold depth breathing mechanisms that extract oxygen from water with remarkable efficiency. Their gills large, their blood specialized, their circulation optimized. They can survive on dissolved oxygen levels that would suffocate other fish, adapted to the edge, to the barely enough, to the minimum that sustains life. You breathing on minimum now too, just enough, barely enough. Each breath smaller, softer, requiring less effort, less oxygen, less everything. Your body knowing how to do more with less, how to rest deeply, how to survive on the thin air of sleep, heavier, heavier, barely breathing, barely there. The Twilight Zone hosts what might be called invisible feeding frenzies, moments when bioluminescence reveals hundreds of creatures converging, feeding, competing. Then the lights fade and the frenzy becomes invisible again, happening in darkness, happening in silence, with only occasional flashes to prove it's real. Most of life here happens without witness, without documentation, without proof. It just happens, exists, continues, unseen. Let your own inner life become unseen now, unwitnessed, undocumented. No need to observe your thoughts. Watch your breathing, monitor your relaxation. Just let it all happen, unseen, unwitnessed, in the dark behind your awareness, in the space where sleep lives, heavier, heavier, unseen, unwitnessed, asleep. There are creatures that drift through unmapped mid-water mountains, seamounts that rise from the abyss into the twilight. These underwater peaks create their own ecosystems, their own currents, their own rules. Creatures gather on their rises, in their shadows, using them as landmarks in the otherwise featureless blue. The mountains invisible from the surface, invisible from satellites, known only to the creatures that live there, and to the rare research submersibles that stumble upon them. You've found your own mountain now, your own landmark, your bed, your position, your perfect place to rest, unmarked on any map, unknown to anyone but you, but perfect, perfectly positioned for sleep, for rest, for letting go, heavier, heavier, found, home, gone. Some twilight creatures have pressure-resistant eye designs that can withstand the crushing weight of depth. Thick corneas, reinforced structures, oil-filled chambers that equalize pressure. Their eyes are armor, are survival mechanisms, are tools for seeing in conditions that would destroy human eyes instantly. They look out from their darkness into deeper darkness, searching, always searching, for the faint signs of food, of danger, of life. But you need search for nothing, need see nothing. Your eyes closed, resting, protected not by armor but by soft lids, by darkness, by the permission to stop looking, stop searching, stop trying to see. Just rest, just close, just release, heavier, heavier, seeing nothing, needing to see nothing, perfect. The Twilight Zone creates conditions for what might be called the lightless ocean ceiling, that boundary where photosynthesis becomes impossible, where plant life cannot exist, where everything must consume or be consumed. This ceiling is not a surface, not a barrier, but a threshold, a transition, a place where one world ends and another begins. and life crosses it constantly, migrating up into the light to feed, then down into darkness to hide. You're crossing your own threshold now, from the world of light and thought into the world of darkness and dream, from the place where you must think and decide and be, into the place where you can simply exist, simply rest, simply dissolve into unconsciousness, crossed, heavier, gone. There are creatures here that seem to practice shadow-towing behaviors, moving in ways that keep their shadows positioned just so, minimizing their visibility, optimizing their camouflage. They orient their bodies to the faint downwelling light, twist and turn to eliminate silhouettes, their every movement calculated, unconsciously calculated by millions of years of selection, by the pressure to disappear, to survive, to continue. Let your shadows disappear now, your worries, your thoughts, your sense of who you are. Let them all fade into darkness, into the formless, into the space where nothing casts shadows because there's no light to cast them with. Heavier, shadowless, formless, gone. The Twilight Zone supports what scientists call Mesopelagic compression adaptations. Bodies shaped by pressure, compressed, flattened, modified. Fish with reduced swim bladders, jellies that are already mostly water, squid with specialized tissues, all adapted to exist where the pressure would crush unprepared life, where every meter deeper adds weight, adds force, adds the need for specialized survival. Feel that compression now, not as pain but as comfort, as embrace, the weight of the blanket, the pressure of exhaustion, the compression of consciousness into something smaller, simpler, quieter. Let yourself be compressed into sleep, into rest, into the small, perfect point of not thinking, not being, not anything. Thump, thump, compressed, small, gone. Some creatures here create slow-spinning siphonophore discs, rotating in the current, tentacles spread like spokes, covering maximum area with minimum effort. They are living traps, living nets, spinning slowly in the dark, patient as planets, certain that eventually something will drift into their embrace. Time is their weapon, patience is their strategy, stillness is their power. Be patient with sleep, with rest, with the slow spinning down of consciousness. Don't rush, don't force, just wait, just allow, just let it happen in its own time, spinning, slowing, stopping, heavier, patient, still, stopped. The Twilight Zone experiences what might be called twilight shrinking horizons, where the distance you can see contracts with depth, with darkness. Your world becomes immediate, becomes intimate, becomes small. At the surface, you can see kilometers. In the twilight, meters, then centimeters, then nothing. Your universe shrinks to touch, to vibration, to presence without sight. Your own universe shrinking now, contracting to just your breath, just your heartbeat, just the sensation of weight, of darkness, of peace. Nothing else exists. Nothing else matters. Just this small, perfect, infinite moment. Thump, thump, shrinking, smaller, gone. There are creatures that create what look like floating skin-like sheets, membranes of tissue, colonies of organisms, or single creatures stretched thin. They drift like veils, like curtains, like thoughts, semi-transparent, nearly invisible. Their bodies more suggestion than substance, more possibility than actuality. They are the ghosts of the Twilight Zone, the whispers made flesh, the dreams made real. You becoming dreamlike now too, more suggestion than substance, more possibility than actuality. Your solid body dissolving into something softer, something less defined, something that might be sleeping, might be dreaming, might be somewhere between, heavier, heavier, dissolving, dissolved, dreaming. The Twilight Zone contains creatures with toxic-wielding soft bodies, jellies with venom that can kill, stop hearts, paralyze nervous systems. Their weapons are chemistry, molecules shaped to attack, to defend, to survive. They need no teeth, no claws, no armor, just the right poison delivered at the right moment. Biology as warfare, chemistry as survival. But there's no warfare in sleep, no defense needed, no weapons required. Just surrender. Just the soft chemistry of rest, of melatonin and adenosine, of neurons slowing, of consciousness fading. Your body's own chemistry carrying you deeper, deeper into peace, heavier, heavier, chemical, automatic, gone. Some creatures here experience what might be called organisms with no up or down, living in true three-dimensional space. They can be oriented any direction, floating vertically, horizontally, inverted, spiraling. It doesn't matter. There is no ground, no sky, no reference, just the eternal blue-black in all directions. They are free from orientation, from the tyranny of up and down, from the need to know which way is which. Free yourself from orientation too. No need to know where you are. No need to track position, direction, time. Just float, just drift, just exist without reference, without coordinates, without the need to know anything at all. Heavier, heavier, unoriented, free, gone. The Twilight Zone supports ribbon-like filter feeders, creatures stretched into long, thin forms, maximizing surface area, drifting through the water, filtering, consuming, existing as living sieves, their bodies designed for one purpose, pursued with perfect efficiency. They are their function, inseparable from their purpose. Form and function merged into one. Merge with your function now, your purpose, which is rest, which is sleep. Become indistinguishable from the act of sleeping, from the state of rest. No separation between you and sleep. You are sleep. You are rest. You are the soft, dark, peaceful nothing. Thump, thump, merged, unified, gone. There are creatures here that maintain brittle-bodied anatomies, fragile, delicate, easily damaged, but they survive because they're so rarely touched, so rarely encountered, so perfectly hidden in the vast empty. Their fragility is possible because of their solitude, their rarity, their perfect adaptation to a world of mostly nothing. You're rare too now, solitary, alone in your rest, protected by darkness, by privacy, by the simple fact that you're unreachable here, in sleep. Nothing can touch you, nothing can disturb you. You're safe in your fragility, safe in your surrender, heavier, heavier, fragile, safe, gone. The Twilight Zone experiences what scientists call the midnight pulse layer, that boundary between Mesopelagic and Bathypelagic, between twilight and midnight, where the last creatures adapted to any light meet the first creatures of absolute darkness. It's a pulse because it moves, shifts, varies with time and place, a living boundary, a breathing threshold, a place that is always becoming, never fixed. You're at your own midnight pulse, the boundary between consciousness and unconsciousness, between here and nowhere, between now and timeless, pulsing, shifting, crossing. The boundary thin as thought, thin as breath, thin as the last moment before sleep. Thump, thump, pulsing, crossing, crossed. Some creatures practice what might be called living mirrors of the deep existence, their entire survival strategy based on reflection, on becoming what they reflect, on disappearing into light itself. They are philosophy made flesh. Questions about identity, about substance, about the difference between being and appearing. They solve these questions with biology, with scales, with angles, with light. You don't need to solve anything, don't need to be anything, don't need to appear as anything. Just be, or not be, or something in between. Reflected darkness, reflected peace, reflected rest, until there's no difference between you and what you reflect, no boundary, no separation, just one continuous field of dark, peaceful rest. Thump, thump, reflected, gone. The Twilight Zone contains what might be called hidden mesopelagic sanctuaries, areas we've barely explored, barely documented, barely understand, pockets of life following rules we haven't discovered, creatures we haven't named, ecosystems we haven't mapped. The ocean keeps these secrets, holds them in the deep blue, reveals them slowly, reluctantly, if at all. Let your consciousness become sanctuary, become secret, become the hidden place even you cannot access. Just sink below your own awareness. Become the mystery even to yourself, the place where sleep happens, where dreams form, where consciousness goes when it's not conscious, heavier, heavier, hidden, secret, sanctuary. There are creatures with adaptations so specific, so specialized, that they exist only in narrow bands of depth, narrow ranges of temperature, narrow windows of possibility. They are perfectly adapted, but fragile, incredible, but vulnerable. They thrive in their niches, but could survive nowhere else. Evolution has made them exquisite and has made them prisoners of their own perfection. But you need no perfection, no specialization, no narrow window. Sleep accepts everyone, welcomes everyone, asks nothing but surrender. You belong here, in this state of rest. You're adapted for this, built for this, perfect for this, heavier, belonging, home, gone. The Twilight Zone generates phenomena called unseen school coordination, where fish move as one without seeing each other, without touching, without obvious signals. They bank together, turn together, flow together, like a single organism with many bodies, like a single thought with many expressions. Scientists suspect lateral lines, pressure sensing, electromagnetic fields, but truly, the mechanism remains mysterious, remains beautiful, remains inexplicable. Your own systems coordinating now without your conscious input. Heart beating, lungs breathing, blood flowing, cells repairing, dreams forming, all without instruction, without effort, without conscious coordination. Your body knows, has always known, will always know. Just let it work. Let it coordinate. Let it carry you into sleep. Thump, thump, automatic, coordinated, gone. Some twilight creatures maintain what might be called phantom fin signatures. Fins so reduced they're barely there, providing just enough control, just enough movement, nothing extra, nothing wasted. They are studies in minimalism, in doing the least possible, in the beauty of barely enough. Evolution has removed everything but the essential and left something perfect in its absence. Remove everything but the essential now, breathing, heartbeat, presence. Remove thought, remove worry, remove identity, remove awareness itself, until only the bare minimum remains, and then remove even that, until there's nothing. Nothing but sleep, nothing but rest, nothing but the soft, dark, peaceful nothing, heavier, removed, released, nothing, gone. The Twilight Zone pulses with ancient rhythms, with migrations older than mountains, with patterns established before mammals walked on land, before humans, before cities, before fire. These creatures were rising at dusk, sinking at dawn, following the light gradient, following the shadow line, following the patient instruction of instinct and survival. They continue now, will continue tomorrow, will continue long after. The pulse eternal, the rhythm infinite, the pattern unbreakable, and you part of that pattern now, part of that ancient rhythm. Your breath, the breath of the ocean, your heartbeat, the heartbeat of the deep, your rest, the rest of all sleeping things, connected to everything, separate from nothing, dissolved into the great pattern, the eternal pulse, thump, thump, ancient, eternal, timeless. The ocean holds you in its memory, in its deep blue consciousness. You are the drifting, you are the floating, you are the gentle dissolving into darkness and peace. The Twilight Zone's mysteries have become your dreams, its rhythms your breathing, its darkness your rest. And somewhere in all this, in the soft space between thoughts, in the quiet moment between heartbeats, You've let go. You've released. You've drifted into the deep, peaceful sleep you needed. Your body soft, your mind quiet, your breath barely there. Thump, thump, so soft, so slow, so far away. The mysteries continue, the creatures drift, the bioluminescence flickers, and you sleep deeply, peacefully, held by darkness, embraced by quiet, supported by the simple fact of rest. The Twilight Zone asks nothing, gives everything, and you've accepted its gift. Sleep now, sleep deep, sleep long. The ocean keeps turning, the migrations continue, the ancient patterns persist, and you drift with them, through the blue-black gradient, through the space between light and dark, through the soft eternal mysteries. Heavier, heavier, gone. The universe keeps turning as the underwater Twilight Zone hums with silent drifting life,